What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another edition of Round One Sports Talk, where we give you the hottest, latest trends that are popping today in boxing. So, without further ado, you're not going to want to miss this video. Please like, subscribe, share on the videos, and like always, let's get right into the video. So, man, a lot was said about the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight. Even Stephen A. Smith took to social media and on his platform network, ESPN, and expressed his concern and his feeling about Errol Spence Jr. But I'm here to tell you right now that even though Stephen A. Smith is a very, very intelligent reporter and analyst, he covers many sports, football, baseball, boxing, etc. But what Stephen A. Smith is not, he is not a hardcore boxing fan. He is a casual boxing fan. And he sometimes reports things. He has a network of people that are whispering things in his ear. So they are very educational. They are up to date. But what he lacks in experience as a boxer, he gets caught up in the moment. He went on ESPN and is trying to announce Errol Spence Jr.'s retirement. He is asking Errol Spence Jr. to retire because he suffered his first loss. Now, that is ridiculous, okay, to even think about. Now, because of the fact of these accidents, of these car accidents, he's saying that with this ass whooping that he got, you mean to tell me a man that survived 2 car accidents and a detached retina came into the ring and an ass whooping's gonna take him out now? No, I don't think so. You know what happened in that ring that night? What Stephen A. Smith is lacking on his reporting is that Stephen A. Smith is failing to realize that Errol Spence Jr. did this to himself. That's right. Errol Spence Jr. has been on a 2-year hiatus, right? Now, he had 2 fights after the car accident, so he was already fighting. Errol Spence Jr. got lazy and relaxed at where he was at in his life. And that's what happens. I spoke about this in one of my previous videos and about Naoya Inoue and how I feel like he's very dedicated to the sport. And how many times have we seen this very same thing unfold before our eyes? Our athlete fall to the lamplight. That's what happened to Errol Spence Jr. There's nothing wrong with that man. He is a good fighter. He just needs to get himself focused and dedicated and get back in the ring. Now, the option that he's putting on the table for another rematch with Terrence Crawford, I really don't want to see that fight right now. I think he should not want any part of Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford looked too comfortable in that ring. And if you ask me, that was one of the easiest fights Terrence Crawford had in quite some time. Okay? Now, for God's sake, his last opponent that he knocked out in the 6th round hit Terrence Crawford more than Errol Spence Jr. did. That guy gave Terrence Crawford a better fight. And Errol Spence Jr. is supposed to be the best 140-pound champion of the world. He didn't get 3 belts because he was just a bum. That's 2 years of ring rust right there, showing its ugly face. His speed wasn't there, and I try to tell the world about this. His accuracy, his timing, everything was off. He was going to chase Terrence Crawford around. I didn't see Terrence Crawford knocking him out. Boy, he depleted. Errol Spence Jr. was so depleted, he couldn't even take Crawford's punches. You know, and I know for a fact that Errol Spence Jr. has been hit by bigger punches and by bigger men than Terrence Crawford. And he couldn't even take his punches that night. Which begs the question, who put up a better fight in the Naoya Inoue fight? Errol Spence Jr. or Stephen Fulton? Now, the reason why I bring Naoya Inoue into the conversation with Stephen Fulton is because the debate is who is number 1 at pound for pound, right? And since I'm always on here telling you that belts and weight divisions have nothing to do with it, and we have to base it off pure skill, but no matter how much I express that, everybody's bringing in the fact that he is the first man to climb 2 divisions and successfully unite all the belts. And that's a big achievement. But if moving up and belts don't matter, and we're only going by skill, then Naoya Inoue is the front runner. He would become the number 1 pound for pound. because I think skill-wise, if we was to look at it as a whole picture, as a whole, we would look at Terence Crawford's jab, his footwork, his ring IQ, his twitch muscle reflexes. We were to look all that out. As you can see, that Terence Crawford needs the right dancing partner to bring the best out of him, because he's also brought in there with his competition. So that qualifies him for an elite fighter. Okay, the performance he put on against Errol Spence Jr. brought the best out of Terence Crawford, but he was, his dancing partner wasn't there for him. But he gave him the ass whooping he prepared for. You see what I'm saying? Terence Crawford was like, if you didn't show up, that's okay with me. But I prepared well, and I'm going to give you what I prepared for. And he made it look really easy, didn't he? Okay. Stephen Kubo Fulton put up a slightly better fight than Naoya Inoue. Errol Spence Jr. lasted a round longer or something, and Stephen Kubo Fulton got knocked out in the 8th round. Now, that was a real interesting fight because Naoya Inoue's dance partner showed up. He got the best version of Stephen Kubo Fulton. He didn't get a deplenished fighter. He didn't get a guy that was on a 2-year hiatus. He got a real world champion. And that's what I mean. You see, there was no storyline behind Stephen Kubo Fulton being in 2 accidents, car wreck, all these excuses. There wasn't none of that. There was the best 122-pound fighter from Philadelphia, the fighting capital of the world, that it was going to be impossible for this little 5'5" Japanese fighter to come in and wipe him down. But that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what took place, wasn't it? That's right. Now, everyone's going around. Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN announcing Errol Spence Jr.'s retirement. All Errol Spence Jr. has to do is get himself together and get a couple fights underneath his belt and then come back for Terence Crawford. Within 18 months, within the 2-year frame, Terence Crawford will still be boxing. And he probably still will be champion, okay? So I'm not sure that they're going to move down ever to fight at 147 again. Now, the question stands this. Does anybody want to see a rematch with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. at 154? For what? Neither of them are the 154-pound champion. It's not like he could drag these belts from 147 and bring them with him. You can't do that. So they would be fighting for nothing, right, on the rematch. That's why I'm telling you the rematch is not going to happen at all, okay? Because, if it makes dollars and cents, Terence Crawford will take the money to whoop his ass again. But will the people support Errol Spence Jr. and believe in him that he has the capability of beating him at 154 when he was completely dominated at 147? Now, I have to admit that wasn't the best version of Errol Spence Jr., but I don't think even the best version of Errol Spence Jr. can beat that man, Terence Crawford, that came into that ring on that night. So I see it being an uphill battle. Right? But I would have to see it before I believe it. Now, because Terence Crawford beat the brakes off that man. It was brutal, okay? But I still think Errol Spence Jr. is a great boxer, and I still believe that he can become a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see where that ends up. Now, on to Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue now has a fight. Now, they're saying that they scheduled that fight for December, right? Versus Tapales. Now, I'm going to look more up into that, you know what I'm saying? And I need to make that more official. I wish anyone even had said that because, whether it is true or not, I should be doing my homework even more in depth to find out the dates because I want to be correct, okay? But, so their fight is coming up, right? And that's a very interesting fight. You know what I'm saying? And I need not to remind you guys the explosion in boxing right now and how all these champions are agreeing to meet each other. You know what I'm saying? And now the O is becoming less enticing when you're daring to be great. Errol Spence Jr.'s O had to go. Stephen Kubo Fulton's O had to go. And then so forth and so forth. Now Naoya Inoue moves forward and Terence Crawford's moving forward in his. This is going to be interesting because now, look, if the Charlo twin moves up to 154 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez, he's going to be busy. He's going to be moving up to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez for his belt. Now, ironically, I had made a video and I was naming the few fighters that have the opportunity to become a two-division world champion. And I had reported and told you that one of the Charlo twins could be one of those fighters later on, but that he needed some work in front of him. Lo and behold, an opportunity fell right on his lap, and now he has to captivate in the moment. Can Charlo pull off the upset against Canelo Alvarez? Now, I want you to know one thing about Canelo Alvarez and about a lot of fighters like that are really protected by and guided with ESPN. And I'm not going to say so. Okay, look, it's up for an opinion whether he's a protected man or not, okay? My opinion, he's been cherry picking a lot of fighters, right? But the one thing about a boxer is, right, that he cannot control is you have to win those fights. They put you in position to become great or to become promotable great, but you got to win those fights. As you can see, shit goes wrong, okay? When Bivol shocked the world and beat Canelo Alvarez, okay? So, as you can see, their plans don't always go in motion. You see what I'm saying? So, and what I also want to say with that is Canelo Alvarez is not a bum. Okay, don't be deceived. Maybe he had, lackluster opponents. And maybe he fought Triple G once too many times. Okay, but Canelo Alvarez can fight and he hits hard. Do not sleep on that man. Okay, he's a Mexican fighter. They are warriors. Okay, and Canelo Alvarez will rock and roll with you. If you stand there with him, you have to pick him apart like Mayweather did, like Bivol did. You know what I'm saying? He snapped him with that jab all night, and he picked him apart. So that's what the Charlos twins will have to do. You know what I'm saying? So if he's moving up, where does that leave the 154 division and the 4 belts? Because apparently he's held in the division hostage by accepting the fight with Canelo Alvarez. But the people in the powers that be, the sanctioning bodies, are okay with him holding up the division because it makes dollars and cents. And they're going to get paid for those 4 belts that Canelo Alvarez has. So, it makes dollars and cents. So, if the Charlo twin is successful and he pulls the upset and he becomes the 168-pound champion, I want you to know one important fact here. He will become the first man in boxing history to simultaneously hold all 4 belts at 154 and all 4 belts at 168. And he will succeed and overpass Terence Crawford's achievement. Because Terence Crawford didn't have them simultaneously. He would have 8 belts simultaneously. This is incredible. Oh my God. That is ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. Okay? So, yeah. You know the odds of a boxer pulling that off? You would literally have to win all 4 of your belts in your division and catch one man in another division with all 4 belts. And that's exactly what he did. He got that big fish. Wow! Oh, he got Canelo on that reel. And he pulling Canelo in. He like, I got him. I got one. And he's going to become the first American 2-division simultaneously in the 4-belt era. Oh my God. That's incredible. That is incredible. So, yeah, Charlo will pass Terence Crawford if he pulls this off. And then it looks like a mega showdown fight will be in the horizon, because then Terence Crawford could challenge the Charlo twin, but I don't see Terence Crawford going up to 168. Where would he fight for? He can't. He ain't going to chase the Charlo twin to 168, Terence Crawford. he would look like a blimp. You know, no, that's not possible, is it? I don't think he could do that. But that, I mean, listen, for as much as fairy tale all this shit sounds, you know what I'm saying? Every time I say something, I'm like, nah, that shit ain't gonna happen. That shit happened. Boxing is really putting the best to fight the best. And that's what makes this all exciting. I want to come on and just report always these big fights and come out and share with you my passion for boxing, because it's a very exciting time. Naoya Inoue is going to fight again this year. And I would like to see Tank Davis in the ring one more time. And it looks like we might get Devin Haney one more time in the ring before the year closes out. So, look, it's an exciting time, but who do you think put up the best fight? Do you think that Stephen Kubo Fulton put up a better fight against Naoya Inoue? And I need not to remind you that Naoya Inoue came into that fight as the challenger. Stephen Kubo Fulton was the champion, okay? Errol Spence Jr. was the bigger champion. He had 3 belts. Terrence Crawford came into that fight with 1 belt, okay? Who put up the better fight? And on their last performances, how do you rate them? Do you think that Terrence Crawford put on a better performance in his last outing? Or do you think that Naoya Inoue put on a better performance on his last outing? Do you think that the performance that Naoya Inoue put him in the number 1 spot? Or do you think that Terrence Crawford held on to the number 1 spot? And which is ironic and crazy. I'm not sure if you guys, would believe this, but I don't support this on, on the ESPN Top Rank site for pound for pound. They still got Canelo Alvarez on the pound for pound list. And I think they got him number 2. They have Naoya Inoue number 4. And they have Tyson Fury, I think, is number 3. Okay, I think it goes, the way I saw it, it was Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Tyson Fury, Naoya Inoue, which is fucking ridiculous. That is just ridiculous to think that any heavyweight in the world would have more skill than Terrence Crawford, than Naoya Inoue. Those men, they're heavy hitters, knockout artists, and Tyson Fury moves exceptionally well for a heavyweight. But does he have the skill of Naoya Inoue? Is he even remotely close to the skill level, the footwork, the ring IQ, the selection of punches? How many punches does Tyson Fury have in his arsenal versus how many punches Naoya Inoue has in his arsenal? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how could you do that? But from promotional, for money, to control the narrative, this is what they do. I don't support that list. I can't look into this camera with a straight face and tell you that list is accurate. Canelo Alvarez, unfortunately, he's a great fighter. He's a skilled fighter. He's just not above these other guys, these skilled fighters, if you ask me. There are just too many fighters out there that are just betterly skilled, And Devin Haney, I don't have him in my top 5, but I believe Devin Haney is a better skilled fighter than Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Canelo is good. He's got a good jab and everything, but he's more of a pressure fighter and a strong puncher. He'll knock you the fuck out. Canelo Alvarez will drop you, okay? And he will break you down with them relentless shots to the body, to the arms, to the chest, until he gets that opening, and he's going to hurt you because Canelo hits hard. Okay, Canelo hits hard, right? So that's what kind of fighter he is. He's a Mexican, durable fighter that can take an ass whipping and keep coming forward with that pressure, and he will catch up to you. You know, those are those kind of Mexican fighters. They tough to beat. They just tough, man. And he's a four-time champion for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because he's in there knocking people out. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have pillows on his hands. So, but as far as skill, mobility, footwork, inside, outside, he's not an elite fighter like that. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's just not an elite fighter like an like a Terrence Crawford. Did you see that shot Terrence Crawford hit Errol Spence Jr. on that rope? It was so slick and so sharp. I didn't even catch it the first time. I was like, did he blow on him and knock him down? Did he trip his foot? And when they showed it at him, he hit him with that shot and came over the top and hit him again. Within like a split, he went, pop, boom. And Errol was down, man. You know what I'm saying? I never seen Canelo Alvarez be slick like that. You know, his punches be so sharp like that, and that you didn't see the punches coming. You know, when he beat Amir Khan, I mean, Amir Khan was coming up 1,000 weight divisions. You know what I'm saying? And Amir Khan was done. You know, and Amir Khan was a skilled fighter, but that pressure, and he got close to him, he caught his range, caught him, laid him out. Canelo Alvarez hits hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about pound-for-pound supremacy, we're talking about a pound-for-pound list, right? That Keith Thurman can't get on, right? Canelo Alvarez really shouldn't be that high on the list. I believe he should be on the list. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. I don't think he should be that high, though. I just think that there's better skilled fighters in front of him. Okay, and that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that, and I'll stand on my square. I report boxing by skill, not by bias and favoritism, okay? Just because Canelo Alvarez is Latin and I'm Puerto Rican and I like me some Latin fighters doesn't mean that I'm going to say and go with the narrative, because it's not true. It's just not true, okay? Shakur Stevenson is a better fighter, has a better IQ, a better ring technician than Canelo Alvarez, but obviously he's not ranked higher. Wow, that's funny. You know, so that's why I talk about things like this. But look, you know, maybe one day I'll really sit down and really, really make a good pound for pound list, because I'm tired of these fake ones. But look, everyone's going to always say it's a matter of opinion. I don't believe that it's a matter of opinion. I believe that I have two good eyes that work just fine. And when I break down my fighter, I have to break down a pound for pound fighter in all categories. You cannot judge a fighter and put him on a list because he's a Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson did one thing well. He did it very good, and he came in and knocked your punk ass out, right? Good. It didn't make him an elite fighter. You know, his punch selection was like 6-7 punches. That's all Mike Tyson had. You know what I'm saying? He didn't shit lower than that. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson's punches were, you know, what was it? You know, the steady 1-2 jab like this, hook, hook, uppercut, body shot. That was his selection of punches. That was it. That's all he had. You know, Naoya anyway, you know, he got that jab, he got the side jab, he got that check hook jab, he got a check hook, he got the uppercut, you know what I'm saying? He can step back, overhand shot right, you know what I'm saying? It was just so many punches that he's got. His punch selection is way higher than his, you know? And that's what I judge fighters on. What skills do they have? And they must be a complete fighter. You know, their footwork got to be just as good. Their everything has to be on a level to be judged. You can't be missing things and say, oh yeah, he qualifies, because now you're lowering the bar. Now you're taking away standards to get your fighter on that list. See, and it doesn't work that way. You have to be honest, and you have to really, really judge the fighter on their performances and what they're doing. So, look, that's all I have for you today. I wanted to make a video and just share some interesting things. I don't believe Errol Spence Jr. is done. I believe he's a product of himself. I believe he did this to himself. He took a little bit too much time away from the sport. If you really feel that these car accidents affected him that much, he should have walked away on top. You know, don't go out there and give a lackluster performance to the fans and to yourself and then walk away from the sport like that. The last thing that everybody's going to remember from you is that ass whooping, and you want to be reminded as a great champion, not from an ass whooping. So I don't believe Errol Spence Jr. is going anywhere. But if anything, once again, hopefully this could wake his ass up, because when he got into that car accident, it woke him up enough to get 2 fights. He wins 2 fights, another belt, and he falls right back into the way he used to be. And then that showed up on that night against Terrence Crawford. That's what happened in that fight, man. And I'm here to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he's done. You know, I've seen men take worse beatings than that. You mean to tell me he's going to take... This is probably the worst beating we've ever seen him take. And now he has brain damage? Yo, these guys are ridiculous, bro. They're ridiculous. So, look, I hope you like what I have. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And like always, we are on to the next one. Peace.